Today I'm going to be looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Deluxe War Machine figure. And I think what Hasbro have gone for is a sort of classic look for War Machine. And by classic I mean sort of late 80s, early 90s, which is where the character more or less got his start, really starting in issue 282 of Iron Man. Of course, over the years he has changed his look several times depending on the artist and the era he's been drawn in. But there are certain elements that are core to the character, such as, the big cannon. But for me, in my mind's eye, War Machine is always as he was back in the 90s, which is when I grew up reading comics, and I've always got a soft spot for that look, really, which was bold and loaded with ordnance. So once again, this is a single-carded deluxe Marvel Legends figure. The packaging is really nice. They're doing really nice jobs with the packaging, especially on the package art there in the back. Great photography, really colourful, and the side panel particularly is really nice. I love that art. I think it's really evocative, and I just think it's a great look. So in terms of the core figure itself, this is a familiar mould, but it looks really good. It looks entirely in proportion and appropriate. The paint apps are really nice. Obviously, there's only silver and black, really, a hint of red here and there. But the sculpting is absolutely fantastic. The articulation is brilliant. As you can see with the head, obviously it rotates at 360 degrees. It can look all the way up, and it looks a really good distance down as well. Actually, unusually so. So fantastic head articulation there. It does have articulation in his cannons on his shoulders that can slide up and down, and of course can swivel from side to side, which is brilliant. And they don't look bulky or obtrusive in any way, and of course they don't hinder articulation. So these are really nicely done. Nice sculpts on them as well, enough detail on them to be recognisable as obviously weapons, and I think they look great. Hasbro have been very careful when it came to the shoulder pads. They've made them of a nice soft rubber there, so again, will not hinder the articulation in the ball jointed shoulders, which is great. You can get the arms all the way up there. Does of course have that bicep swivel and the double jointed elbows, which is great. Of course, we also have the swivel wrist there, so again it can turn around at 360 degrees, and of course can bend at the wrist as well on that hinge. So fantastic there. No real impediments really to the wrist articulation, which is good. He can swivel at the waist, again right the way around there, which is great. And in terms of the ab crunch, he can look a really good distance down and a pretty okay distance up, not fantastic. Legs do swivel all the way up and of course to the side because they've got that hinge joint that we're used to, and of course has the double jointed knees and thigh swivel. Likewise, it's the usual sort of foot articulation we'd expect. They go up and down, and of course they pivot at the ankle there. So this is fantastic as well, looking really good. One of the things I love about this figure is the gun mount on the gauntlet there on his right hand. I think that looks really cool. And he does come with an absolute ton of ordnance. One of my most favourite things about these kind of figures is when they give him so many weapons and blast effects, and he has plenty. So first up we have a sort of blast effect that is like the rapid fire from his wrist gauntlet there, which is brilliant. We also have his jet boot effect for the flames, which is great. His shoulder cannon blast effect, firing rockets, alternative roadie head, and some firing effects and smoke effects from the gun arm. So here's the rapid fire blast effect. I think this looks fantastic. It really captures a sense of motion in your figures, which is brilliant. And here he is with the single blasts. So again, also a fantastic alternative. There's the shoulder cannon blaster fire, and of course we also have the firing rockets as well. So wow, when you put these together, you've got quite a display. This is an action-packed figure and it feels very dynamic. But he also comes, obviously, with the smoking effect as well, and I love this. I think this is a really cool after effect, and I think it looks fantastic. Really nice inclusion. I should note as well that the rockets actually come away, so they're actually individual, and it's a nice little touch there, which I think is really cool. And here he is with the alternator head. I think this is a pretty decent sculpt, to be honest. This is what I'd expect from Rhodey. Again, very much 90s child, so for me, I recognise him with the goatee. I think that's kind of important. But yeah, I think this is a really good look. It's captured him nicely. And here he is in all his glory when fully assembled with all his bits and pieces. And wow, isn't that awesome? I just think this looks so dynamic and just really lends that sense of action to the character. Wow, it's very exciting. So I think they've done an absolute tremendous job, and he's made all the better for these blast effects. So here he is with the ToyBiz version of the character. Now, for a bit of context, I remember when ToyBiz released this character, he was really hard to get hold of, and he was one of my absolute favourites in the collection because I just thought he was amazing. Like, again, he had loads of ordnance, and he just looks so cool. But he looks really weird today, and I noticed that when I went to do my top 10 because I thought for definite this War Machine was going to be on it. But when you put them side by side, it's impressive just how much better the Hasbro version is, in my opinion. It's just like little details, like on the chest with the emblem there. I think the silver works so much better than the blue. Plus, also, I don't know what this is. There's this big sticking out brown circle on his back. I've never known what that was for, and it just looks really clunky and strange now. Likewise, when we look at the head sculpts, it's just night and day, isn't it? I think. I mean, the Hasbro version's so much better, whereas the ToyBiz, I'm not quite sure who that is, to be honest. Like I said, I like my War Machine with a beard. But here we go. In terms of their blast effects, I mean, to be fair, the ToyBiz one was really impressive. I still think these look really good, to be fair. I love the fire and rockets. They've obviously utilised the same thinking. Hasbro taking inspiration from the ToyBiz version. One of the things I really like about the ToyBiz version, which is better, is the rotating cannon. There's a bit more detail there. It feels, more authentic, and obviously has that chain of bullets there, which is also a really nice touch. So I think that is probably better in the ToyBiz version. But otherwise, it is clunky and it just looks a little bit bulky and strange, really. Whereas the Hasbro version just looks more streamlined and a bit more swish. So yeah, I think overall, I think the Hasbro one takes it. And it was strange going back into my collection, and because I had such fond memories of the ToyBiz one, and then yeah, it just shows, like I said, that Hasbro have really outdone themselves, really, and raised the bar for this character. And funnily enough, this was actually a figure I was going to pass on. I really did believe that the ToyBiz version couldn't be surpassed, and yeah, when they announced this, I thought, oh well, I'm not that fussed because I've already got a definitive version of it. And then yeah, I saw it and it just blew me away. And yeah, for me, this is easily a 5-star figure. Like I said, it took a great figure and surpassed it. And what more can you ask for? I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, please do give it a like, and remember to subscribe, as I'll be posting more videos soon.